Roster update number 2 has already come out for NBA 2K21 on the next generation, and what I'm going to be doing in this video is covering every single team's biggest changes, and there is actually 100 changes in this video. They changed basically like everybody in this game, so I'm going to be covering that right now. Before this video starts, be an OG, join the pack, and subscribe. Join the new channel as well. It's just called Pack. I do IRL content and react stuff. And let's get this video started with the Philadelphia 76ers as is tradition. And first off is Ben Simmons -1, even though the Sixers are the #1 team in the East right now. And that's probably because, you know, Doc Rivers realized, hey, if you just give Joel Embiid the ball and let him do whatever he wants, you win games, which is what he's doing. Ben Simmons is kind of in the way. I mean, he's a great defender, and, you know, he gets his close to triple doubles every game, but his scoring, it just goes down, so that's the only reason he's going down. Tyrese Maxey is one of the bigger upgrades this video, +4 from a 72 to a 76. He has been fantastic, and he doesn't even have a face scan in the game, which is wild. For the Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis goes -2 from a 97 to a 96. He is not in contention for the best player in the league anymore because the best player has a 97 overall and he does not have that. Therefore, yeah, he's disqualified now. But still, it's Giannis. It's like, whatever, bro. As well as Chris Middleton goes +1. I saw him torch multiple teams for the past couple weeks. He's been fantastic lately. And then freaking Brook Lopez -2 from an 81 to a 79, so he's been dropping pretty aggressively. Overall, those teams have been going down, but they're still playing decently well. For the Chicago Bulls, Zach LaVine +2 from an 85 to an 87, making him the that's the highest rating he's ever had, just straight up, if we're being honest. He's been playing amazing. Another player is Lauri Markkanen from an 81 to an 83. He actually is 50th in the NBA in scoring right now. So the Bulls have two of the top scorers, or one of the top scorers in the NBA on the same team, which is good for the Bulls. They need Lauri because, you know, they're gonna need his scoring because in 2019 compared to 2020, he did not do as good, but it's looking like he's back on track, which is a good sign for the Bulls. Also, another player, Otto Porter +1, which is highest that he's ever been. Wendell Carter Jr. back into the 80 overall club, +2 for him. I mean, this team is going up and up, and they might be in a playoff contention. Who knows? For the Cleveland Cavaliers, Colin Sexton goes +1, being tied for the best player on the team. But if we're just being honest, he is the best player on this team. Also, the Cleveland Cavaliers have one of the best defenses in the NBA. So with great defense and plus Colin Sexton's amazing offensive play, they've been fantastic, and they literally just bodied the Nets with 3 superstars on their team, which is just insanity. And Colin Sexton's a huge part of that. Like, literally no one expected them to be this good, and they've been pretty solid. For the Celtics, Marcus Smart -1 from an 80 to a 79. And then as well as Peyton Pritchard, or Pritchard, I still don't know, from a 73 to a 76, having one of the bigger roles in this team. He has been surprising everybody for sure, and is even a Rookie of the Year candidate this year, which is pretty big for him. For the Los Angeles Clippers, Paul George goes back to the 90 overall club for the first time this year from an 89 to a 90, so good for him. He's actually been playing very well and even on par with Kawhi for the beginning of the season. Lou Williams goes -1 from an 80 to a 79. He's been struggling this year so far, but let's see if he finds it throughout the year. For the Memphis Grizzlies, now that John Morant is back and still as good as you can imagine, +1 for him. He is easily the best player on this team, and he's been doing a good job in the few games he's played without his second best player, Jaren Jackson Jr. Brandon Clark goes from 76 to a 79, so +3 for Brandon Clark. Huge upgrade for him. You know, it was weird because he went down to 76 from a 79, now goes back to 79 because he's been playing well. Kyle Anderson also has been a low-key, really good player for this team ever since Ja was out, and they're actually still having a pretty good record because of Kyle Anderson's amazing play. So he gets a +1 from a 77 to a 78. And then Xavier Tillman, the highest upgraded player this roster update, from a 70 to a 76. Huge for the rookie Xavier. For the Hawks, Trae Young -2 from an 89 to an 87. I think that that's going to be going up throughout the year, even though his offensive play has never been the problem. It's his defense that is basically just terrible. I think that this team is actually going to do better throughout the year, and he's going to end up becoming a 90 overall at the end of the year. Clint Capella, the fella, goes +2 from an 82 to an 84, making him tied for the second best player on this team, even though I'd say it's probably John Collins for sure. Speaking of John Collins, -1 for him. And then DeAndre Hunter goes +2. I mean, this is probably the best perimeter defender on the team, and he's actually scoring a lot more this year. So he's almost an 80 overall club member, and I think he's going to get that in the year. I mean, there was a lot of changes for the Hawks. Bogdanovich -2 from a 78 to a 76. He's been struggling as well. For the Miami Heat, Bam Adebayo +1, getting him closer to that 90 overall club and maybe even tied as the best player on the team with Jimmy Butler. I think that might end up happening. Kendrick Nunn -2, which is crazy because he just had a really good game last game, but from a 76 to a 74 for Kendrick Nunn. For the Hornets, Gordon Hayward +1 and Terry Rozier +1 as well. So both are going up and up, making Gordon Hayward right now the best player on the team easy. But Rookie of the Year candidate LaMelo Ball goes +3 from a 78 to an 81. He is looking like easily the best player in this draft. And so far, this draft has not been amazing, or the class, but he's been fantastic so far. And PJ Washington +2 from a 77 to a 79, almost back into the 80 overall club. And then Devontae Graham -2. He's been struggle city, but you do have a bunch of point guards on this team. That's kind of been the problem. For the Jazz, Mike Conley +2 from an 82 to an 84. And I've been saying, and I've said it a lot, look at the Jazz in the standings right now. They're number 2 in the NBA, well, sorry, in the West in the conference, because I have said so many times, when this team is healthy, this is low-key a contender. When you have a defensive player of the year candidate every season and a great player like Donovan Mitchell, all you needed is Mike Conley to play as good as we know he can play, and this is a very, very good team. And just wait till Bojan starts playing even better, because he went down from a 79 to a 76, -3 for him. But once he starts scoring like he did last season, this team is dangerous. Also, Jordan Clarkson +2 from a 79 to an 81. He's been amazing, and I think a 6th man of the year candidate for sure. For the Kings, Hassan Whiteside -2. Literally, he's not even playing. Like, he's barely playing at all. This is going to go down aggressively. They have not touched him. Richaun Holmes +2, making him the second best player on the Kings. I mean, the second best player on the Kings changes every day. It has literally been Holmes, Barnes, Whiteside, Marvin Bagley III, Buddy Hield, and even Bayalinka at one point in the past 2 years. And I wouldn't even be surprised if Halliburton ends up becoming the second best player on this team in the next coming weeks. Like, it's crazy that this team has no clear number 2. But yeah, speaking of Tyrese Halliburton, +3 for him, for making him a 70 from a 77 to an 80 overall, also making him a Rookie of the Year candidate for sure. And then Buddy Hield -2 for him from 80 to a 78. For the New York Knicks, who've actually been playing decently well this year, 83 to an 85 for Julius Randle +2, and I even think he might go up to like an 86 throughout the year. RJ Barrett stays, and that's crazy because I think RJ Barrett's easily the second best player on this team, like easily. And the fact that he has not changed at all, even though he's been playing great, is crazy. Emmanuel Quigley from a 72 to a 76. Another player that has been fantastic and is starting to get minutes. And he just came back because he was healthy. Like, well, he was injured, now he's healthy. So if he gets a bigger role and plays more minutes, he could also be a Rookie of the Year candidate, especially if the Knicks somehow make the playoffs. A crazy one to me, LeBron -1 from a 98 to a 97. And then Anthony Davis -1 as well from a 95 to a 94, which is just insane. I mean, the Lakers are the best team in the NBA, at least record-wise, and yet their 2 best players went down, and I wouldn't even say it's the rest of the squad that's been playing better. That's why, because it's not really true either. So I don't know. I think they probably should have just stayed how they were, but whatever. Montrezl Harrell goes +1 from an 81 to an 82. He had a rough start to the year, but he's kind of picking it up now. KCP goes +2 as well, from a 77 to a 79. Dennis Schroeder leaves the 80 overall club, -1. So little changes here and there, but overall this team is still good. Nikola Vucevic goes +1 from an 87 to an 88. And actually, I believe this is the highest rating Nikola has ever had in 2K, which is kind of crazy. And even though this team lost like 6 in a row before they just won last game because of Cole Anthony's game winner, this team was struggling. But Aaron Gordon went +1 as well. Terrence Ross -1. And Khem Birch +2, and I did not know how big this dude is. Like, I saw him play against the Knicks and I was like, this dude is jacked, and he has actually been playing a big role for the Magic this season. For the Mavericks, the only change for whatever reason was Jalen Brunson +1, and that was the only change, even though Porzingis has been playing pretty well ever since he came back, so that might change. And Lucas should probably go up too. For the Brooklyn Nets, Joe Harris +2, making it to the 80 overall club for the first time. Congratulations. No one cares. KD, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving are all on the same team, and these ratings are going to go all over the place throughout the year because, I mean, who knows? I mean, all these dudes could get 30 a game if they really wanted to. It's insane. But they did lose to the Cavs last night, so who knows? DeAndre Jordan -1, and that might go even worse because he's been straight terrible this year, but that might change. Who knows? For the Nuggets, the other Nikola goes also +1 as well, from a 93 to a 94. Also, this is the highest rating Nikola Jokic has had in his entire career, which is huge. Monte Morris also gets a +1, and that was really the only changes besides, I think, Gary Harris, who went -1 to a 73, which he's pretty low now. For the Pacers, the only big one was Miles Turner, +1 from an 80 to an 81, but he should be a defensive player of the year candidate if we're just being honest, but I guess he's just still low rated. But Doug McDermott +3 from a 75 to a 78. He's expanded his game. He used to only shoot threes. Now he's actually driving to the basket a lot more too. So that's kind of crazy to see. A pretty crazy one. Zion Williamson +1 and Brandon Ingram -1. And so officially, Zion Williamson is the best player on the Pelicans for the first time in his career, which is kind of nuts. This is kind of a whole topic for another video if we really wanted to. But yeah, I mean, Brandon Ingram's not a bad player. He's just kind of had a weird couple games lately, but like, I don't know. Obviously, Brandon Ingram can do a lot more than Zion right now, so I think he should still be higher, but who knows. And then Eric Bledsoe -2, which is crazy because Drew Holiday is now an 85 and Eric Bledsoe was a 79. So the Bucks got a huge upgrade there. And then Nickeil Alexander-Walker +5 from a 71 to a 76. His role has gone huge compared to last year. So for the Pistons, Jeremy Grant +4, making him the best player on the Pistons easy. And he's been a consistent 20-point per game scorer this year. Blake Griffin -3 because he has been struggle city, but this dude has been cursed with so many injuries that it's like, it's not even fair to him. Kyle Lowry goes -2 from an 86 to an 84, and I can't tell you the last time Kyle Lowry had a low enough rating like this. Actually, he's tied with Fred VanVleet as the best player on the team, and that might be even tied with Pascal Siakam and Chris Boucher. Speaking of Chris, huge role lately. He has been playing huge minutes from a 78 now to an 83, making him a +5 change. He's been fantastic, and the Raptors have kind of winning a little more games like compared to the beginning of the year, so they might be getting better, but we'll see. For the Rockets, DeMarcus Cousins goes +1, which was surprising to me. Christian Wood goes -1, and I don't know why they had the same rating. Let's just be real. Eric Gordon goes +2 because he's been playing a lot better, at least offensively. You had Victor Oladipo on the team now, and I think his rating will go up because he's going to be the best player on this team probably. Well, at least he and Christian Wood. For the Spurs, LaMarcus Aldridge -2 actually, from an 83 to an 81. Big downgrade for him, which is kind of crazy to see. Actually, do you see that they failed the Photoshop there? You can see that the 2 is missing. What the heck? 2K. But still, yeah, LaMarcus Aldridge is going down, and he has been playing worse, but he's coming back from injury, so give him a little bit of time. DeJounte Murray didn't go up, which is actually kind of crazy considering how good he's been playing. And then Keldon Johnson +2, entering the 80 overall club for the first time in his career, and he's only played like 30 games in his entire career so far, which is nuts. And then Lonnie Walker and Devin Vassell +3 for both of them, even though Devin should not have a higher rating than Lonnie, so they probably should just flip-flop these ratings if we're just being honest. For the Suns, CP3 -2. There's no denying CP3 is one of the best point guards in the league, but Devin Booker is that good, and that's why he's the best player on this team, and we all expected this to happen. But Bridges +4 from a 79 to an 83. He's been huge this season. Ayton -2, but that's going to change throughout the year. He's been having some pretty good games. Cameron Johnson +3, so entering the 80 overall club. This has been one of the better teams in the West, and it's because all these young guys have stepped up, and Chris Paul was added to the team, obviously, so it's been huge. For the Thunder, SGA +2. I mean, he is like that. He's pretty good. And then also Diallo, I'm assuming it's Diallo, but I'm just getting Diallo, is +6. Also the highest upgraded player in this video, from a 71 to a 77. And then Isaiah Roby +5 from a 70 to a 75. This is usually what happens when teams kind of like completely change their team and like get new players and are in rebuild mode and they don't know where they are. A lot of the young guys step up and we find out who's good and who's not, and that's usually normal for a team like this. For the Timberwolves, Malik Beasley enters the 80 overall club for the first time in his career, +1 for him. And then Ricky Rubio -2. that might change, but he's also not been playing. For the Blazers, CJ McCollum +1. He has been nuclear this season so far. I mean, these two offensively are just insane. For the Warriors, Andrew Wiggins -1 from an 81 to an 80, and I 100% respectfully disagree. I do not think that's fair for Wiggins. I think he's actually been playing very well lately, and they've been winning a couple more games more than usual, so I don't think that's fair. Eric Pascal goes back to the 80 overall club, +1 for him, from 79 to an 80. His role has increased a lot. Him coming off the bench and scoring a lot more has been necessary for this team, and I personally believe that Steph Curry should have gone up. He's been fantastic, and I think he should be a 96 overall, but my opinion. Also, Kelly Oubre goes down, but he's been playing better as well. But he goes from a 77 to a 75. And then, for the Wizards, finally Bradley Beal gets the upgrade we've been waiting for. From an 88 to a 91, enters the 90 overall club for the first time in his career, and then some. Russell Westbrook goes down, but it's weird because he puts up the numbers, but whenever he plays, they lose. So at this point, it's just you have to downgrade him out of just purpose, right? But Davies goes -1, and that is all the changes for this roster update. There's a lot of crazy ones and big ones, but which ones do you think and disagree with or agree with? Leave it in the comments below, and if you like this channel, give it a sub, and I'll see you guys next time.